Notes from a Dinky Dunghill, An Insider's View of Malta and the Maltese by Richard Zahra. Prologue. The cock is at his best on his own dunghill, wrote the Roman philosopher Seneca. Mine has always been a small island in the middle of the Mediterranean, Malta, where I've roosted for over 5 decades. It's a sun-baked rock in summer, wind-battered in winter, and often stifled by the humid sirocco. But it's home. Being Maltese is a blessing, and sometimes a curse. I had a childhood filled with freedom and imagination, the kind children today might struggle to picture. In the 1970s, Malta was a backwater, and that may have been its greatest gift. My father, a teacher, believed education meant going out, meeting people, exploring, reading every day. We roamed the island, places not yet paved over, that left their mark on me. We lacked frills. Colour TVs were rare. Local broadcasts were mediocre. And entertainment came from rooftop aerials pulling in Italian stations. There were no game consoles or personal computers. Time was spent outdoors, forging friendships, weaving dreams, and filling long, slow days with fantasy. By my teens, I began to chafe against the island's limits. Reading opened doors, and Malta started to feel like a cage. I thought I'd seen it all, and feared I'd grow into a provincial nobody if I stayed. But dreams of escape clashed with reality. I was underage and broke. So, I joined the ranks of daydreaming schoolmates, moaning about Malta's backwardness and longing for bigger, faster foreign worlds. In my 20s, I finally travelled. I still remember the elation of walking along the Seine, gawping at the Notre Dame and Versailles, only to be surprised by the tug of patriotism when I saw de Valette's jewel-encrusted sword in the Louvre. "These Frenchmen like to fart with other people's asses," I said, quoting a Maltese saying that summed up the moment perfectly. That first trip showed me that not everything foreign is better. In the Paris metro, I saw real poverty for the first time, an image that never left me. Back home, even our poorest had food and shelter. It struck me then, small isn't necessarily lesser. As the Maltese say, essences are stored in tiny containers. My dunghill began to look less shabby, more precious. Of course, Malta isn't perfect. Our airwaves are cluttered with egos, and our politics, media, and social life can be insufferably repetitive. But what country isn't a mess in its own way? What we lack in Polish, we make up for in character. Loud, impulsive, disorganized, but warm, loyal, and vibrant. Perhaps if we became too efficient, too reserved, we'd lose what makes us Maltese. Sadly, much of that spirit is fading. Malta today is faster, noisier, more crowded. Solitude, once rare, is now more common as people retreat from the chaos. Still, the Maltese identity is more than geography. It's a mindset. Almost every Maltese has at some point wanted to leave, and many who do eventually long to return, even if their children don't. Strangely, the Maltese abroad often become more Maltese than ever, clinging to the language, food, and customs of home with touching nostalgia. Distance makes the bad bits fade, and when we stumble upon another Maltese in a foreign city, there's an instant bond, a sense of rare familiarity. We may complain, but deep down we feel special. Tiny as we are, we believe we punch above our weight. Some even think the EU was lucky to have us, and in a world full of betrayal, the Maltese are stubbornly loyal, sometimes to a fault, and often are unwary victims of demagoguery. These notes aim to sketch the Maltese character from within, flawed, contradictory, and often baffling. I don't claim to be objective, but then again, who can be when it comes to their own people? Nations are not logic puzzles. They're messy, living things, moods that shift like clouds. So, with a few flicks of the pen, I hope to give you a glimpse of what it means to be Maltese. You may see paradise or purgatory, but you'll find, as I did, that behind every curse lies a strange, persistent blessing. The Maltese are no saints, but we are survivors with a rose blooming stubbornly from our dunghill.
Step into the real Malta with Notes from a Dinky Dunghill, a sharp, funny and touching exploration of island life by Richard Zahra. From food and folklore to politics and everyday absurdities, this book captures the spirit of Malta in all its messy glory. Available now in paperback and ebook on Amazon worldwide. Get your copy now and see Malta from the inside out.